Hey, Monty, did you have the, quote that we talked about
Yeah.
from the bridge to the?
Yes.
It's not on here though.
Where I got it is,
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Okay,
I'll, tell them when I get up there.
okay.
Cameron Parish Police Jury's, agenda budget meeting, Monday, October 7th, 2024.
Okay, so, if you're on this alright, can y'all hear me? Alright, if you're on your computer, go to the bottom screen and I'm gonna go on the summary. And then like if I give y'all a paper copy, it's on the top. I'll put it on there. I'll put it on the top right.
It wasn't on mine.
No, I'll put it on my,
Yeah, go down to
we'll break, I'm gonna break the shoe meeting. Yeah, Sam, yours is different. You don't even have an Excel. Yours is like a, did you click out of it? Okay, right here.
Y'all still back on 1998?
Yeah, no, his is very old school.
I'll show you.
I know.
Tell them all you know.
I know. I was like, he don't have Excel, and it was like this S or something, and I was like, what is that? No, I'm sorry. Okay, y'all ready?
They don't buy nothing, they can have mine. I hadn't even seen my laptop.
You laptop?
It's all fine.
He could have it.
All right, are y'all all ready? Okay, so if you look at the top, the general fund, you'll see like the 2024 budget revenue, and then it's the 24 budget expenditures, and then, you'll have the fund balance starting 1/1/2025. Then you'll have your budget revenue. Hold on, let me pull mine up on here because there's a glare. Then your budget expenditures. And then if you look at the very last column, it is the projected fund balance as of 12/31/2025. As you can see, general fund is right at 4.9 million. The special revenue funds, that's a bunch total, so we'll skip on to the bottom to where you can see road and bridge. Road and bridge is actually in the negative 503,000, which is pretty common. We usually,
every year.
I mean, it's every year. Y'all just have to y'all have to okay it to allocate.
Hey, the camera bears great again, Shane.
Courthouse and jails, 990. Health unit is right at 2 million. Garbage, 4.6 million. Criminal court, we do have to supplement criminal court. They don't have any tax base, so we are allocating right at $689,950 to them, leaving them with a balance of 23,000. Cameron, the E911's 27,000. Library's 4.9 million. And then Fire District 1, 886,000. Fire 7, 558,000. Fire 9, 713,000. Fire 10, 4.5 million. Grand Lake Fire, 780,000. No, hold on. Yeah.
It was 10 at.
Fire 10 is 4.5. I'm sorry, I'm on mine. You better see. There's a glare up here, so I can't let you see it. I usually have a paper. Okay, can I have a paper? All right, so Fire 10's 4.5, Fire 14's 780,000, Klondike Fire's 169,000, Hackberry's 2.6 million, Fire 16's 412, South Cameron Fire's 780,000, Gravity Drainage 8's 266, Tourism 140,000, Grand Lake Cemetery 186,000, and Hurricane Laura Funds 33,000. So, any questions, or do y'all want to start looking at the summary? The details, I'm sorry, not summary. So if you go to the bottom of your screen, the jury funds, that is all of the funds that y'all are responsible for, and then other funds are the funds that all have boards.
You want a summary tab?
Yeah, on the bottom, well, the summary tab is what I just went over, but if you go to the bottom, you'll see jury funds and you'll see other funds. Well, your stuff might be at the top. See it? Y'all can go through and see, and this is just your normal operating expenses, this is nothing that's, I do have, $2 million for Grand Lake Rec in there. I have $1 million allocated to, in the garbage for disaster recovery, for like hurricane disaster, debris pickup. And I have 900,000 allocated for the North Cameron EOC, and also 100,000 for health unit elevation.
So is it garbage that we fund these cleanups with?
The debris pick,
Oh, you're talking about condemnation?
Yeah,
no, that is in general fund. And now, right now, it's 100,000 is what I have put in there.
why is that not, that's not by the statute, you can't use garbage for that?
Not sure.
I mean, it's cleaning up.
I mean, we'd have to get an opinion on it.
Can we try to get an opinion on it?
Yeah. He's on the phone, but we can get Tom to look at it and see if condemnations can fit.
We ain't got no money in the garbage fund. You been looking in the garbage fund? Oh, Lord have mercy, son.
I mean, I don't think we can do grass, but like yeah. It's not too far of a stretch. He's comfortable with it.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else in there.
Hey Caleb, on the first page, why do we still have $33,935 in the disaster fund for Hurricane Laura?
Because we're closing that fund out, and my auditors set that up as an audit adjustment, and I need them to, at the end of the year, they're gonna close it out.
Where does that go? Where would that money?
Back to each of the districts.
Each
You already-
district, we already closed it out, and
Yeah, 'cause-
I'm not really sure, because when we closed it out, me and Katie, we worked on it for like 2 months, closing it out, and for some reason, we could not figure out, so we need them to come and figure, I'm not gonna lie, we couldn't, I looked through, it was a general ledger this thick, I could not figure out where it went. But it's probably from a previous audit adjustment. I don't know why I keep using that.
Have we received a penny from Laura as far as from FEMA or anything?
Oh, yeah,
like
I
that?
can tell you, let me see.
It went back to some of the districts,
Yes,
some FEMA money.
yes. Let me see, I can tell you. Like, are you wanting to know a specific one, or?
I just know right offhand, we spent almost $500,000 in Hackberry trying to recover from Laura
Let me-
Water Board.
Look and see. I can't tell you right off that, but.
Is it her mama or is it?
She said home.
Her mama, her daddy's mama. Find out both.
Better be quiet, you might be paying for real.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Yeah, probably.
All of this reciprocated going on.
Oh, no, I guess, if y'all don't have any questions, we can.
Because she's looking at something. Okay.
Sorry.
He's asking about, waterworks, like your waterworks, PWs, like what money they
Flush too many toilets is all
They
you-
received everything we received.
Yeah, that will,
Don't know what mom wants.
You can talk about it, said you can text them.
We out of money, it's Paris.
yeah, do you know, do you have a total?
Are you on my spreadsheet?
Yeah, this is.
Oh, okay. What is it? What did I do, Kayla?
No, you have to- I know it's order, I took, keep doing this, I need to choose.
think I moved. Oh, shoot. How do you do control tab?
Vicky, they don't clean them, do they?
This one?
No, no, this is right there.
My bad.
And I can go and check.
Alright, so if you just right here, Hackberry Water is,
Cassie, Vicky, they don't clean them,
they haven't received any money.
All right, Mike, they haven't received any.
They haven't received any, PW obligations.
No, I didn't think so, that's why I was wondering.
That's why, so these are their PWs, can you see them?
No, this is mine.
Oh, sorry. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 PWs going through the FEMA review process. And
feel so bad,
they have one
feel so bad.
that should be obligated this year, and the rest are still in initial project development.
FEMA can't even pay the emergency response right now, it's more or less getting any more money.
Yeah, so they have 2 Cat B PWs, one for water treatment facility, another one for their well site. That's typically just paying labor to go out there and clean everything up, running generators. And then their permanent repairs, they have 3. They're all probably gonna be obligated as smalls, but one's for the waterwork office and storage building. And then they must have 2 other buildings somewhere else. They have like some supply cabinets, I mean like some storage stuff, other places, cause I just see location numbers.
So what's the value of the active one, the closest one to receive?
The closest one to obligation, and this changes so much depending on insurance too, so don't hold me to this one, but you're looking at maybe 90 grand. That's before they do apply insurance.
Not even a fifth.
Yeah.
Okay.
We the people.
Kayla, did you ever get the numbers on the fisheries building in that?
Yes, hold on, I have it on here.
'Cause I know I talked with Nate, he said pretty much the only one been buying ice is Joby.
So the amount we received for ice is $550 in about a month, I would say. And we have spent 65,000 out of the 127,000 of insurance.
What's the monthly O&M?
Oh, well, right here, one of the electricity bills is $1,500.
And that's normally one deal of ice a week,
Yeah,
one.
and it's the same person.
Yeah, I know I talked with Nate, he was getting some lunch one day and I kinda asked him, I was curious, and he basically told me just Mr. Joby was
One day
getting
a week.
ice, so.
I think they have one guy buy ice besides him one time.
His
Yeah.
daddy was here today, Mr. Lawrence,
Yeah, he.
Joby's daddy.
He buying for Joby.
Yeah, usually he buys it on Friday and Mr. Lawrence comes pays on Monday.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's what usually happens.
Okay, I was just curious how that endeavor was going.
Yeah, but
Well, what's left over off of that money that we, kinda decided to use off the insurance and that? Did we
Off-
get anything from the auction or,
I haven't sold anything yet.
okay?
but I could tell you what.
When's the next auction?
Do 1.25, don't they?
I mean, you're looking at like 62,000 left
Okay.
on just insurance.
How much, 22,000?
Huh? 62,000.
62,000.
Yeah, that's from insurance.
Something to keep in mind is.
And everything's paid for,
Yes, as
everything?
well. I mean, I know. I want to say just a few weeks ago they had to go put Freon in something, and that was like $798. So you're still running into a little bit, and then you have,
Leak on it then.
huh?
They have to have Freon, there must be a leak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that might have been at the maybe when it wasn't working or something. And then, like I said, the insurance is like 1,500, not the insurance, the electricity is about 1,500. I think I saw a water bill too. The water bill is like 246.
Katie, that building, it's a FEMA building, correct? Say if something happens, worst case scenario, we had to demo it, is that something that would qualify for FEMA stepping in to do, or?
No. Once you close the PW, well, one of the FEMA buildings was built 100% with CDBG funds. So you can't really touch it for 10 years without getting OCD approval. The rest of it, like the ice little cooler machine, and a lot of the equipment that would have been FEMA funded, once you close the FEMA PW, they don't really care what you do with it. You could sell it, you could tear it down, but it's at your own cost.
Yeah. Did the PW close yet on this building, or is that something we gotta keep open?
For the ice part, no. Like that PW, yeah, actually that one did, cause that was a Rita one. But for the main processing building, that's the one that is gonna be tied up federal. You're gonna have to get permission to dispose of it before you can, and then any profit you make off of it, we'd have to return it back to OCD. It's like if you sold the building, you'd have to pay it. It's called program income. You'd have to pay it back to CDBG.
I got you.
Sound like that's gonna be a fun financial.
Now you could repurpose it for something else. Like you might be able to move another business in it, but
Sell snow cones?
it's gonna be a lot harder to sell that building.
Yeah, so far, and I know I'm talking to Ms. Kim on a few times, I don't see nobody or nothing coming anytime in the future, so I didn't know what it looked like or what the plans would hold as far as staying with the ice endeavor, or being there's no funds for it, is it cheaper to tear it down, or?
So we actually do have a meeting coming up in the next week with our chamber, and they're gonna help give us ideas on how to like certify locations to make it more marketable, and then they're gonna market it for us. And so that meeting's in 2 weeks, and that's one of our talking points is that something that maybe it would be attractive as a different use, that maybe they could get certified and we could try to attract a different type of business besides just the seafood industry. So we'll see what their recommendations are. Bring it back to you guys.
First building to lose the air conditioner, we can just move offices over there. Just speak.
You might wanna go look at it. I don't think they'd be too happy.
No, I just don't want to.
All right, y'all want to move to the next item?
Yes, ma'am.
True.
Howdy. It's my first time directing a conversation with y'all, so bear with me a little bit because I'm not used to this type of formal environment. Next on your agenda should be ADP. It's automatic data processing. I am certified in ADP. I've used ADP actually longer than our rep has. To give you a little bit of background with it, I used it back when it was a disk and we sent it via modem. So I've been using this program for a very long time. There are so many benefits to switching it over from what we have. It would take me a lot longer to explain this to you than it would for me to say, please switch. ADP has some very good things. I went over it with Mr. Shane and Ms. Katie, where it's got geo-tracking. So when Joe Smith, who works at this barn, clocks in, we're gonna know exactly where he was when he clocked in. We can date it, where he can't clock in from a point to a circle that we set around. So there's a lot of different things we can set with it. The main reason that I'm all for this program is mainly human error right now on your 941s, your 940s, your unemployment, your W-2s, your W-3. All of those ADP takes over, as well as balancing out your benefits. They track arrears, so if somebody's out on leave, this program is phenomenal. I wish I still had access to administrator to show you, but unfortunately I do not. But it is absolutely a great program. Again, I am certified in this program. So any questions or concerns or comments?
What does it cost to switch?
About $26,000 a year is what it's gonna cost us, and that entails
The
All
one-time
of
fee, that's a user fee.
That's included in that
Okay.
26,000.
Any upgrade costs from year to year?
No, sir. We're locked for 5 years.
Besides yourself, does the rest of the staff, support that switch?
As far as I know, the answer is yes. Also, it tiers like a
Yes.
pyramid.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, do away with time sheets and
Yeah, you'll be getting rid of timesheets, and right now, like braids, she has to sit there and code every timesheet that comes in, and then for her to not make a mistake, she has to like bring it to me, and I have to go through, review them to make sure she don't miss anything, and then sometimes stuff still gets missed.
And another thing too is since it's pyramid, Shane can check his people can check their people for their timesheets. So, may I use you, Mr. Ronald? So if you're clocking in and out, your boss you can approve your timesheet. You say, yes, on Monday morning, everything's good to go. Your boss then approves it, and then I approve it, or even Ms. Katie approves it. We're gonna have more than just me trained on this program. I do need a refresher on the payroll side as far as transmitting it, because they just switched it over the day I started here to a new platform. But it gets rid of so many possibilities of theft and errors, and we're gonna be able to say, okay, your people have this many hours at any time you want. And because it's pyramided, you are allowed to see your people, you're allowed to see yours. I see them all, Ms. Katie can see them all, and whoever else y'all choose.
Is this gonna track back to an asset, like different areas, if they go and work in different areas?
Yes. You
It'll
can
be-
departmentalize it however you want. The employees, say you have them going from Klondike to Grand Cedar, they hit a little arrow, transfer over there. It only lasts during the clock in. When he clocks back out, he goes back to his home account.
What about in the office here?
Same.
Okay, because once we start doing the cleanup, we're gonna probably have some money to be adjusted on that for how many hours they spend towards that.
Yes, sir. You can transfer it, and I can also do a manual transfer if necessary.
One last question, what does it cost for the software we're using now?
I'm not sure.
Ballpark?
Right now, it's because we're still going to keep the accounting side of it for now, and we're just moving HR and payroll. And I emailed the guy 3 times already to see what I know. We pay $1,100 total a month for all of it, so it's probably I would say it's a few $100s cheaper. It's going to change.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's kind of a no-brainer, if we're upgrading and, we're gonna do away with that at some point in time, probably after a year. Once we switch over to ADP, how long are you gonna keep the other one?
We will still have to keep the accounting side, like
Forever?
we'll have to have an accounting program. ADP is only payroll and HR.
And benefits.
So like the accounting side has to keep a program.
It's gonna be like an Oracle or something if you was to move over for the accounting side.
Yeah.
And it is GL interface capable. ADP will send the GL interface directly into whatever program we have.
So this system, is it gonna be able to tell, say like, when a worker clocks in and out, where they are? Or
Yep. There's 2 options. There's geo tracking, which will tell me where you are when you clocked in, and then there's geo fencing, which means that you cannot clock in unless you're within 100 feet of this point. But we're still playing around with that a little bit to try to figure out what would be the best for us. So either one, it's capable of either one.
So, I'm kind of familiar with ADP. I've used it for quite a while. In the case of, and Miss Katie or Mr. Shane can answer this, but a lot of the Shane's employees, I'm gonna call them, a lot of them I don't believe has parish phones. There may be some of them without phones. In fact, my neighbor works for the parish and he got a flip phone that probably can't do anything.
I'm not saying anything, I just switched over from an iPhone 4. So anyway,
but
it's the laptop or that
they can
iPad.
clock in on
You can have a
the
station.
iPad, in and
Yeah.
out on the phone.
Okay, that was my question.
Because like each employee goes, just say Cameron Barn, they not gonna clock in till they get to the barn and clock out before they leave the barn. So they
Okay.
can clock out on the phone with the iPad in and out.
Okay, and that was my question, Mr. Shane.
Yes, sir.
They can clock out in any phone that has the ADP app because it's an differential on their logins. If you're familiar.
And this is gonna go for both the road crew and the administrative?
Everybody,
Okay.
waterworks,
Everybody,
everybody.
Payroll.
everybody.
Perfect, just wanna make sure, cause when you start talking about time clocks and something, if not everybody gets them, you know, they're gonna cause a ruckus.
There's no actual time clock. ADP does have time clock capability with a fingerprint, but let's not go there unless we absolutely have to.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier on your phone or on your iPad, and because we're not asking you to do work on your phone, I can't ask you to clock in and out on your personal phone without any type of phone allowance.
Yes,
Okay,
They can change their direct
And
deposit,
ambulance,
they
they
can
do.
change their.
You can also have your,
It just comes through here through a.
quite often, like, people that's reporting to an office, clocks in and out at the office on a
Yes, sir.
desktop, you know.
okay, so ambulance, mosquito control, Hackberry Rec, Johnson Bayou Rec, they are not on our payroll, so this does not go with, for them.
But the drainage board, fire department.
They're all on ours, but most of them, they only have two that has employees, like
Will
full-time.
will they need time clocks?
They'll need something on their phone
Or an
or iPad.
Which is not a big deal, cause most
Yeah.
of them have either iPad or computer already.
And it's a super easy face recognition, tap a button, clocking. It's called a quick clock.
But it does not commingle with payroll, though.
I'm sorry?
It will not commingle with the payroll.
Well, it
It
is,
is,
payroll.
I mean,
But it's gonna, yes, it will.
It is.
It just does not have its own accounting software, but it will transfer to our accounting
Okay, it will
software.
transfer.
Yes.
Yes, sir, there's a
Okay.
GL interface at the end of each time, and it will automatically transfer to our accounting
okay,
software.
it's not like we got a double
Oh,
deal.
no.
Okay,
It's
okay.
actually gonna be easier.
payroll too. Okay.
It's awesome.
y'all's life easier.
A lot.
And your foreman's don't have to come.
No,
every
they
other
don't
week.
have to come every 2 weeks. Save gas.
Well, that, I believe
They'll
it
be
was
checking
you
on their
asking.
phones.
What you looking at me for, Shane?
So they working up there.
So any other questions?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, that's
'Cause you're
actually gonna
familiar
save
with
the
it.
people a little money.
I'm sorry?
That's actually gonna save the people some money.
Any questions or anything else I can?
Hopefully raise
answer?
production.
If a employee breaks down the road or whatever, if you wanna check and see, if they're in the area they're supposed to be in, will you monitor that also?
It'll monitor when they clock in and out. We could do a geo-tracking on their phone, but I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I was just curious as to how far when is for, once they leave the office.
Oh, it's anywhere. If you use the geo-tracking, wherever you clock in or out.
It does?
Yes, sir.
Boy,
So-
don't clock in duck line.
Never. So if you go
I'll leave my
home and
phone
clock
home.
out, I'm gonna know.
Okay.
We good?
Thank you very much.
And we would like y'all to vote on that today, if possible, and it's not gonna be for next year's budget, it's just to amend this year's budget, just because they want us to go in effect 1/1, and to do that, we need to get on the ball like yesterday.
By 10:11.
So this is coming out of your 2024 budget?
Yes. And we probably still have money in our budget, we just wanted y'all's approval for it.
I make a motion to accept.
I second it.
Well, mine is doing 2024 budget request.
There.
Make sure you say it's for this budget year too.
Yeah, it says accounting software for 2024 budget.
This is the 2024
Sorry.
All in favor?
For Marshland, they just finished up the whole canal.
Hang on a second, Bonnie.
We didn't finish.
Hang on just a second.
Yeah.
Hang on just a second. Got a motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Johnny. All in favor?
aye.
Motion carries.
Y'all think they can say no?
I'm here to talk about the whole canal.
Oh,
Mr. Johnny's district in Klondike. Marshland just finished up cleaning the canal. And there's another existing on option one for 1,000 feet for $8,983. And option two for 10,000 feet for $69,000. Mr. Johnny and I was out there Thursday and we gauged that 10,000 feet. And only 900 feet needs to be done. which comes up to $2,073. And I was asking y'all, if we could get out the funds 15,000 to do this 1,000 feet plus the 300 feet to get drainage in Klondike.
We need a motion?
Do we
Your
have-
board asked you to ask us for this?
No,
Your
I-
drainage board?
Mr. Johnny did.
Yes, he did, yes, they did.
This 1,000 feet canal is stopped up solid. I mean,
Mr. Johnny was telling us about it.
kids here can walk smooth across it, not even sink.
And our thinking is while the machine's there,
The machine's there.
Yes.
I mean, we saved quite a bit of money on it coming back on it.
Yes, sir.
Sure 900 feet's all you need, all the machines there?
So what are,
And yes, because we gauged it from the bridge to this, drainage that we need, that we're cleaning out, and it's right at 4 foot of maybe 100-foot path.
Yeah.
Everything else is 6
I'm
foot.
just saying that machine not gonna be there very often, so.
No, that's why I'm thinking we need to move on it now.
It's 300 yards from the bridge to this 1,000-foot ditch
That's
that
right.
they're gonna clean out. If it's okay, and anything after that, the depth jumps from 6 to 8 foot deep all the way to the river.
We need a motion for this?
Does the drainage board have the money?
Make,
Going out the drainage board, or?
We do.
no,
Well, this is for an
that's-
additional 300 feet.
this is the new drainage board
This is
that
new.
does not have any
One
tax
night.
money. We just formed it in,
A few months
June,
ago.
July. This is gonna come out of the general fund.
I make a motion.
It's
Road
$15,000.
bridge, on road and bridge, or just?
No,
It would be out of just the general fund,
Road
it's
bridge is broke.
$15,000, but it would come out in 2024, not 2025.
Make a motion to
Because the
proceed.
machine's over there, so they can start now. Yeah, you know.
Don't need it, we'll maintain it.
How much you needing? Do we have to make a motion
15,000 out
for
in
the?
2024.
15,000, make a motion to proceed.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Mark. Mr. Johnny, you in favor?
I had big. I can't go back without.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Hey, Mr. Mahoney, before you roll out, I got a quick question. The bridge underneath Gibbstown, the ditch, that drainage we was looking at, can you take a look at that and maybe put some numbers together or something to see if we
Alright,
can
I
get that clean?
can measure it out,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause
'cause I done went and gauged it, man.
Yeah, 'cause I know we did the other side.
Yeah.
I would like to see maybe in the future that side getting cleaned as well, so.
Right.
Hey, Monty, what about that other bridge that Joe was looking at the other day? You went and measured.
Alright, you talking about Grand Chenier,
Yeah.
Carl McCall Road? Shane and I went and looked at it, the state shut the bridge down. Underneath the bridge, all the cement, probably an inch and a half is cracked, alligator stuff broke off, rebars exposed everywhere. Well, they let us shut just one lane down, but it's pretty much ASAP. Gotta be fixed with culverts or a new bridge. I've gotten with Bill McCall, which on the west side of the bridge, he said, all you gotta do is come by the office with whatever kind of paper easement right, and they more than willing to sign it to let us build a bypass. So the, people that lives back there can get in and out. And we'd have to, get prices from whoever, you know, to go put in culverts or for another bridge. But we're gonna meet the engineer tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
Get some drawings and stuff on, and culvert sizes.
That'll-
Doing that is, and maybe it's not possible, but could that be something that could be like expedited, like a day and night route?
We tried.
You know, okay. I just know they got a few people live back there and that's the only way.
Oh, no, yeah, there's 7 or 8
tried.
permanent residents, plus probably a dozen camps, maybe 15 camps.
Mhm.
We're trying to do it as quick as possible.
Yeah, okay.
And I talked to Chris Lil Pecan, it would be probably right after hunt season, end of February, before they would have anything big going back there,
Yeah.
you know, cause they're gonna widen the run rate. But, I mean, they might have to wait.
Okay.
So I guess that's it for me.
Thank you, Mark.
So is that project budgeted, or is that something we're gonna be off budget?
Nope, it's not budgeted.
It's
It just come up last week.
So we think we'll know by next meeting what it kind of costs it?
I would think. I'm gonna talk to that engineer. We're gonna meet with Myers and Associate in the morning. I'm gonna try and get him on as quick as
The
possible.
water, I'm just gonna say the bottom of it's hard. The water's 21 inches deep, both sides of the ditch. I can walk across it with hip boots and not sink, which that don't. It's 54 inches to the bottom.
It's a compaction right there.
If you walk across it, don't think that means a lot.
Hard bottom.
Hey, now we know how to get him off the mic.
We don't have to do no engineering.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Yeah, you will.
So, we're on item 4, budget requests. I'm gonna make a request. You currently, pay the DA, I think, out of what you pay, part of my salary package is $81,000 a year. That's not my total that's what y'all pay. Is that accurate? Just for me. No, this is DDA, just for me. I'm asking for a $2,400 raise, which is $200 a month, is about 3%. So, and I was told that since I don't set, I'm not, I've got to ask y'all, because y'all set my salary, it's really up to y'all, so it's 20, it's not exactly 3%, but I think the math is easy, go from $81,200 a month for another $2,400, so I think y'all have to vote on that if you.
We need a ticker to see how much money we have before we start doing all these subtractions.
So I don't have a step basis, I'm not on your schedule, so I can't just go to the next step and get my 2 or 3%, whatever it is, so I have to come to you all. So I would respectfully request that $2,400 a year raise. So, it's about.
Worry about that Attorney General.
What about the attorney?
Opinions.
Hey, you want to pay me per opinion?
Maybe.
Working on it. Anyway, y'all have to vote on that. I would appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
We need to vote on it today.
That's, I don't know what the process.
Yeah, like, I just tell me if y'all want me to put in the budget, and what we'll do is next month, we'll do the exact same thing, and y'all gonna see all the figures y'all tell me that's what y'all are good with, you're gonna see it in there.
Okay.
Next month, and then in December, you'll vote on it, then it's passed.
Okay.
Motion to put it in there.
just look expensive.
Second.
I need a new suit.
Motion by Mr. Michael, second by Mr. Danny. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
This is to make sure it looks good, right?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Oh, I'm done? Y'all voted on it?
Now, go ahead, Shane.
Oh. I give y'all a equipment list of,
It's a wish list.
a wish list.
Is that already in the budget that we just reviewed?
The negative 500,000.
No, that's for the new budget, Mr. Sonny.
And this is not including the road in Cormacal Road either.
Yeah, this ain't including the bridge. I don't have a clue what that's.
Fire treasurer's getting red in the face.
So, Slopemore for Hackberry and Johnson Bayou. Mr. Sonny ain't had a Slopemore, what, a year?
Never had a new one.
Never had a new one, but it's broke down now.
Don't have one then.
And Hackberry needs another one, so we can reach further in them ditches. And then, Hackberry, I'd like to hire another full-time employee.
Is that, don't y'all have an opening there now?
No, sir.
No.
We just, there's, 4.
Five?
They used to have 5. They used to have 5 back in the day.
Yeah, just clarify.
But I mean, if you cleaning ditches and bush hogging, you really need 2 and 2 for
I
sure.
thought y'all had an opening because you were full. I thought y'all had an opening. Okay.
We replaced the opening, but back in the day, they did have 5 there.
Just out of curiosity, not that it's a big deal, what's the deal with Case IH instead of John Deere? Much cheaper?
They were a little cheaper. I got a quote from Case, John Deere, and New Holland.
Is that state contract?
Yes, sir, all of them.
How much you think ours are?
I don't know.
100 and some.
They all on state contract. The case was a little bit cheaper,
120
not
horses,
much,
it was 120,000.
but,
So how much is not much?
uh.
Do we have
I
John
can
Deere's?
pull it, sir.
You say the case was a little cheaper than the John Deere. The John Deere's we do have now, are they the same as what you quote?
120.
So all your filters, all your stuff, is it a substantial amount or?
Is what?
In other words, he's asking if we get the same tractor, we can
Yeah, yeah.
stock.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I can-
Extra hydraulic filter.
They own state contracts. I don't have to go with the cheapest. You can go wherever, right?
Okay, what's the difference, Shane?
I'm asking.
They're worried about filters and things like
Right,
that,
yeah.
replacing kind
They
of.
all the same too.
How much was the difference in the two machines?
I can pull it. I can go get it right now if you want.
I mean, if it's just 1,000 or two,
Yeah, it ain't
and you got the same tractor with the same filters and everything the same, and your employees are used to running that, unless you wanna change.
No,
You getting good service with John Deere, or?
yeah. I was just trying to get it a little cheaper. Save a little more money.
He
here.
just got them eyes from the treasurer. That's what-
Katie's not worried about that, hell, we
Why?
could
Keep moving this way.
give the DA some money and, you know,
I'll tell you from,
unless he wants a weed.
No, we've had good luck with John Deere. So far.
If it's a bunch difference,
No, it ain't.
if it's
A
just,
few thousand.
but it's whatever they think, I mean, if it's,
Shane,
how
are
many
you-
more,
are
how
you
many,
selling? Are you gonna, is this replacing one or is this adding one?
No, I'm adding one to, Hackberry. I'm replacing one in Johnson Bay, and I'm replacing a tractor in Grand Chenier and two in Grand Lake.
So you're selling the old ones?
I'm selling the old one.
So the only one that you're not selling,
It's Hackberry.
Hackberry?
Shane, you pass through Grand Lake a lot, there's a lot of John Deere's up there, huh?
Yes, sir.
You usually see a John Deere mechanic up there quite often, huh? And then the
I
red
don't
one,
pay
a
attention.
lot of people's going from green to red because they don't break down near as much or have the electronic.
Sweet Lake Land and all's going from green to red. I mean, honestly.
They've been John Deere since before time.
And what's worse than that?
sir,
I said they've been John Deere since before time and they're switching.
You can't hardly work on them John Deere's unless you got their program, and they won't give
You can't work on nothing no more, Mr. Sonny.
So his case is better.
You can take them to town.
I would think so. If I had the money to buy green or red, I would buy red. in my opinion.
I talked to Sweet Lake about what they just bought, and they are satisfied so far with the case. I was going, they were a little cheaper, and I was gonna try them out.
I know that a lot, just knowing the logistics of it, 90% of the time they can't finish a cut or nothing without a John Deere mechanic on site.
Yeah, I don't pay attention, you know, mechanics and.
But I just, whatever you.
Brad in Hackberry just bought a, case. He's having.
Oh,
problems with it,
that's
but you
case,
can't.
just send it on through.
Mr. Sonny, what you use?
I got New Holland, which I don't like, I got John Deere, which I've been having a lot of trouble with. I don't have a case.
He said he's supposed to go to case.
Honestly, New Holland was the highest out of all three of them.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
They're just not what it was.
no, well, I mean, that's all I got, but it's whatever you want. I was just thinking if it wasn't that much different, you got all these tractors that's the same, it's all the same filter. But if you want to try case, I don't care.
Hey, Johnson might be having whatever you bring.
I mean, if you want to try case, I'm good with that.
And then,
Treasurer says case. I see her face.
like I say,
It would be a good practice to go with the
Grand
cheap.
Chenier replaced, we got one that's ancient over there, a bush hog tractor.
It'll start
You got
bringing
two
it
of them
down.
ordered, you've got two of them written down, get them, and see how they work out.
Yeah.
And we'll come back and have this conversation next year if they need more.
Yep.
I think it keeps them honest and they'll see we go with the lowest bid, so
if
hopefully
you
they always
see-
try to be lower.
If you see, we're waiting on $100,000 grant to go towards this purchase of this equipment. Katie's working on it. I don't know when it'll be here, but
Say 100,000. How about
So-
it'll buy, well, two of them's 130, so it'll buy.
How many tractors does Mr. Johnny have versus Grand Lake, just to say?
Bush hog tractors?
Yes.
Mr. Johnny got one, Grand Lake got two.
And Grand Lakes are both pretty new, or they're both
No,
old?
That is,
The Kubota.
how long ago is then we bought them Kubotas?
4 years?
No, 4 years, no, 10.
How many hours they got on
Of
them?
yours?
That was the first tractors we bought.
But them Kubotas wasn't as great as I thought they'd be either.
No, them Kubotas, we've been having a lot of trouble with them. That's why it's time to replace them.
If they're 10 years old, you should have done got rid of that.
That was 2 of the first ones we bought, when we bought the first round of cabin there.
They got good engines, but they're like a Dodge. The rest of it falls apart.
You're right. You're
They
right.
don't talk
I mean,
about
that's
it.
just-
You're right.
Hey, I'm just saying the truth.
And we're going back to John Deere.
And Gooseneck Trailer in Grand Lake, that trailer's been there since before I started here 20-something years ago. We just have an actual trouble with it.
So a lot of that's gonna be transferred to Mr. Johnny's place.
The dump truck, I'm actually, if y'all approve it, I can piggyback off of another parish to buy this truck. I don't have to bid it out. So they bought one, so I can piggyback off them. We don't have to bid it out or nothing.
They bought it within the last year.
That's what she told me.
I don't
Talked
get
to
all
her
the
Friday.
paperwork from her.
So, Sweet Lake Dump, we haul tires with this. DEQ, we gotta put a sticker on it and haul tires. So I was gonna buy that through the dump, let the dump pay for it if Kayla lets me.
We gotta find money somewhere for
And,
these guys.
And the old dump truck, I was gonna send to Klondike from Mr. Johnny. Me and him talked about it this morning. They got a 7-yard truck, been there. It's been in the fleet for 20-something years too. So it's
What-
time to replace it.
That dump truck, what yards is it? How many yards does it
The
haul?
new one,
Yes,
14 yard.
14.
Yes, sir. And we've been buying Freightliners. We got 2 last year. They've been in the shop already probably 5 times.
I think Kenworth would be a little better, but a lot of them newer trucks, they typically not too good unless you get them with a slider kit. But I think Mr. Danny will know a little more about that.
I have better luck with the KWs, service wise too.
Right, well, we started, I mean, we've been using them and Martin, we were using Martin, but we get it back, how only half of it was fixed. And then Klondike Barn, this is the highest quote I got, but I'm gonna get some more quotes for fencing. The fence off the area, we had that trailer stolen, me and you had talked about wanting to fence that off.
All ours is, yeah, this
Yes,
day
sir.
and time, they run off with everything.
Yes, sir. And then Cameron Barn, across the front, we got the gate going in, just across the front, putting a fence there, just where we can lock it up where no traffic come in and out on weekends or whatever, or in the evening or at night or whatever.
That's at a couple.
540 feet.
Yes, sir.
What would be cheaper, putting a fence or a good camera?
Oh, camera. I mean, mosquito control, when they was there prior to the storm, they had cameras there.
Yeah, and well, that's what I'm asking.
I mean, we can buy
Cause I'm
a ear
just,
camera that goes to your phone.
just looking at it and knowing a few things, just putting a fence around just on the front of it, I don't think is gonna stop the problem.
It's gonna stop vehicles coming in and out, so it's gonna stop.
Yeah,
Well, you might need a camera instead, Trey.
I mean, I agree. A camera would be way cheaper.
yeah, I mean, if we put a fence up, I would be for it if
And
it's
we
all
can
the way
put a
around.
barbed wire fence, we can do that ourselves. That's gonna serve the same purpose
Yeah, I think,
for a lot cheaper.
Shoot, a camera and
unless there's,
rays, we're gonna have them.
Electric fence.
Yeah.
cause I know they used to have just a yellow gate there, is that still functioning or?
The gate's still there.
Yeah, is there any way we can shut it? Can they really go around it or?
Yeah, they can go around.
What about if we take some of that concrete and put along there to where it'll be a little rough?
We can do that or put a barbed wire fence even. But we can put in barriers, line them up right there.
And I would just like to see us save a little bit of money on something like that and maybe put it towards some of this equipment.
That's
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I mean, to me, if we was putting a fence, if we was fencing the whole facility, maybe, but just, across the front, I'm like, cause I don't ever remember there being a fence all the way around there, was there?
Just across the front, and it was a barbed wire fence. The
With the
cattleman
gate.
had it there. I don't even know who had cow is.
I think it was Mr. Fufu.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, the camera would work at Klondike also as long as we had the proper lighting. Camera's not gonna do it to get it in the dark. Now, I know we did fix some of the lighting around there, the community building.
Well, we can put security lights in the front on the road.
That's what I'm saying, you know, just a floodlight has a tendency to defer, and like you said, we go with cameras, I think would be a little bit,
And we locking the trailers up now, so.
yeah.
Somebody stole a trailer, what, last year?
Last year, or this year? Was this year?
This year or last year, it might have been this year. But anyway.
so what about the trash can stuff? Did that ever get the trigger pulled on anything? Since we run out of money in the garbage
We're
fund?
still working on the ordinance. What that looks like. It'll probably be ready for next month. The garbage ordinance about defining residential use for trash cans, RV parks.
We haven't decided, have y'all decided?
Alright, so we'll take Cameron Barn fence off. If you wanna take Klondike off, we can.
I just,
I think we can to put, if we put some lighting out there, and if you're locking the trailers up, let's try that first.
Okay.
That'd be the least expensive.
I don't know about y'all like it, but I want a camera that's not white, you know.
Well, actually, I'll talk to you after. No, we got one in that moment.
well, if you got cameras up, at least we can go ask for the stuff back.
Chain, this chain link fence you're talking about, that's hiring somebody to do that, it's just materials and we doing it.
That's hiring somebody. But we're gonna take that off.
Well, I know, but if you decide to do it with your own labor, you probably cut that in half at least.
I just got a quote just to add it.
Okay, so that's a thought, guys, if something would happen. If they put the fence up and they capable of doing it, you
And if we
could,
do it, even.
you could cut that in half, if they decided to do it.
I think Klondike's a camera and lighting, let's go with that.
Try that first and see.
But I mean, really, that was the only time we ever had anything stolen.
Since I've been here, you're right.
Trash.
A
Let's
trailer.
do it, trying to deter instead of keeping them out.
Right.
Turn off the old trailer.
Cut it down.
I think we know.
I see.
All this coming in there, and then we'll look next month and see where we gotta
Oh,
cut.
wait, I got a whole
Yes.
bunch of stuff.
We're not cutting that.
Don't adjourn, this is my.
Are we gonna cut? Yeah,
We're gonna have to cut
gonna cut.
somewhere.
Can you take the old tires off the old tractors?
I mean, he's already, this is gonna be $1 million out of the general fund. Over $1 million already out of the general fund.
We not gonna build it.
Yeah.
It's just,
Better
yeah.
do the nitty gritty.
I mean, I can put it all in there and we can look at it next month and kinda,
Yeah, we can, if we.
I mean, I looked at this
just
thing all
replace sections
weekend,
on this
trying to
year's
crunch his
fund.
numbers, and I could not find where to.
Ronald said we could have $1 million out of $2 million out of the grant league.
There you go.
10% in, he said, loan it to you.
Oh, I'll loan it to y'all today, when you want to get started.
Okay.
10%?
Okay, so, yeah. Few things. I think I'm gonna start with this year's budget. Let me see. I got like on my iPad. I gave you guys a few things. I guess we'll start with the Jeff Davis water request. And, so Jeff Davis Waterworks, they provide water to the Lowry residents. And Jeff Davis Waterworks, their staff and their board president has reached out to Mr. Johnny, and they've reached out to me over the last year. They were under the, I think, assumption that we were going to allocate $100,000 to them, but nowhere can Mr. Johnny and I find anyone that promised them that. So we're just thinking that maybe it was like, hey, maybe we'll ask Cameron for it, and they never come and ask. So that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about today. They applied for a $3.2 million capital outlay grant, and they received it. So they're gonna do $3.2 million worth of infrastructure improvements for water, and it is gonna improve water service for an estimated 70 users in the Lowry area. Calcasieu Parish also has residents in that area.
that are going to benefit from it. Calcasieu's already committed $300,000, and so the total amount that Jeff Davis Water is responsible for their local share is $810,000. So 300 of that's going to come from Calcasieu. They're going to have, Jeff Davis Water's going to have to provide an amount, and then they're requesting if we would contribute. They threw out the $100,000. It's completely your call. You can decide the amount, or you can decide zero. It's up to you guys and what you think your budget allows. I did put a copy of their letter. You can see they had started the request at the end of last year, which is when they were doing their capital outlay applications. So that's what this is. I kind of did some hand figuring, and if you want to just try to maybe figure out if you want the full 100,000, you vote on the full 100,000. If you're looking for something based off of maybe the users and the benefit, I kind of broke it down to, of the $3.2 million, it cost about $1,000 per customer times 70. It would be like 70 grand. If you don't think you can afford it, but you want to contribute something, y'all can just throw out a number to me. I think they'll be happy with any contribution. But of course, if budget doesn't allow it, then budget doesn't allow it. We'll just have to tell them that. So you want to say anything, Mr. Johnny?
Yeah, one thing that we do have residents there, probably 40 permanent residents has been there. Rest of them are campsites, stuff like that that's used here and there. It's not like it's a continuous use. I wouldn't have a problem giving some, but 100,000 to me, no more people than it's gonna serve is a little high. If she got, and I was kinda curious at 47,200, you know, if we went 50,000, then that, to me, that would cover, you know, what usage we're using out of it. Now, the other side of it is, if they decide to cut us off, then I don't know what these people would do as far as water. Which I don't think they would, but like I said, I think we're probably obligated to some degree of getting involved in it, but not extraordinary.
They use Cameron Parish as getting part of the grant?
No,
Be
no.
included?
No, this is Jeff Davis, fully funded by Jeff Davis Water.
I know, but it wasn't defined that they feed Cameron and part of Calcasieu in their grant?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was, yep. And I have a copy of their application if you'd like to read it. This is actually phase 1 of 2. They are going to do it. They submitted 2 applications. The other one, I don't believe, got allocated this year. So they might come back for more at a later date. I don't know. All I know is the little bit I talked to Kathy, their secretary, and I think Mr. Johnny's talked to their board chairman. The 47,000 that he mentioned that I kind of just scribbled on here, that was the second thing I kind of figured. I was like, well, if it's not $1,000 a person, a user, then what percentage of our users make up the total amount of people served? And that's where the 2% comes from. Of the 2,200 and I think 50 users, 70 of those it equates to 2% of total users. So if you did 2% times the match, that's how you get 47,000.
That would be fair, I think.
Yeah, whatever logical, but I would like you to joke with old Ben Boudreaux and tell him we was gonna do 100 grand, but Michael Fuel said whatever reduce, I'd like to see his face.
So how many residents is on this system, period?
They
Or
told me
total?
total 3,248.
And over there, there's no type of water tax or nothing to that nature on that end, is that correct?
Right.
Yeah.
They just pay their water bill.
Do you know that the Cameron Parish residents is paying the same fees?
Monthly fees?
Ask,
I can ask. I don't know the answer to that, but I'm happy to call and ask.
because they're probably operating off of ad valorem tax. I know Grand Lake goes up to the water, to the airport in Lake Charles, and they charge a higher fee for the folks in Calcasieu.
Because they don't pay their ad valorem tax.
Now, they don't ask them for any monies like this to do anything. Though when they get a grant, they probably include them in the grant. I don't know that.
Good point.
I can, ask and bring it back to you next month, if that's something you need
Yeah,
answered
Evidently.
before.
that's good. We can do
Okay.
it, that way we can see it all the way around.
So what's the difference in the bill of Cameron versus Jeff Davis residents? Or in the rate? Okay.
Is there a reason, or it don't sound like they had too much discussion, is it they like they're about to upgrade something, or?
Yeah.
Yes, so they are doing, they call it their Thorn well water treatment plant improvements. That's what they, sorry,
Grant's paying 100% or a percentage of it?
75%.
75%, okay.
Do you know what that 25% includes? How much money?
The total that Jeff Davis is required is 810,000.
810,000.
And so Calcasieu gave them 300, whatever we give them, and then the rest of it they're responsible for.
You don't know the number of Calcasieu meters there is?
No, I don't know the number of Calcasieu. I can ask Miss Kathy if she has a way of. It took her a little while to figure out the Lowry residents. I think she kind of just was counting bills. Might take her a little longer to do the Jeff Davis, the Calcasieu people, but
We want to help our people. We just got to make sure we justifying everything, you know.
so do you want to know that too? How many Calcasieu?
I mean, it's all good information, make a good decision.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, guys, that I need to ask before we move on?
Good.
One thing I see is that, they tell you it was $1 million for a generator upgrade.
Oh yeah, you see the
Yeah.
phase one booster station and ground storage tank.
Yeah, but $1 million is just for a generator, I don't know where they get a generator.
Hefty one.
Maybe the price has gone up since I've been in it.
That's a big generator, huh? Is that BW or FEMA grant they used, you said it stipulated that Klondike or Lowry's in the grant. Does that grant, is that gonna tie, say, Mr. Johnny's area into certain stipulations? Cause I know, looking at the Cameron Creo and Grand Chenier grant, you know, we got to abide by, and we're basically held accountable for keeping the systems together. Does that make us, you know, have to stay to a certain standard, or?
No, because this is state money. It doesn't have any federal identity. So state money, you follow state rules, and they're 100% more lax than federal money. What's going on with South Cameron Water is the funds that they are using actually came from the feds, so it kept its federal identity.
Yep, I was just making sure they wasn't tying us to something that we might not wanna be tied to.
Yep. Okie dokie.
Assuming
Moving.
that's metered water? I'm assuming that's metered water?
I'll bring it back next month, okay?
I really couldn't answer that, to be honest with you.
I'm just curious.
I would think it would be.
Any
What
other
was the question? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Metered water was
Do
metered
we have
water.
a meter in the dump, Caleb? Lowry, water meter? We pay a bill off?
I can bring it.
Flat rate.
Yeah, we could probably pull a water bill. Kayla can pull a water bill. While I'm talking to y'all about the other thing, we'll see if she can find one. Okay, so moving on. This is the second current fiscal year budget request, 2024. Cameron Fisheries. Topic one, but let's just stick to topic one. We'll go into the topic two next. So I gave you guys Tommy Seafood attachment. It's a little packet. This was his final bill. I brought this to the subcommittee a month or two ago and got their recommendations. So I'm here to ask you guys for an official vote on how much, if anything, do you want to commit to paying this Tommy Seafood invoice. These are the list of all of his invoices that he claims he paid out of pocket for Laura renovation, repairs. It totals $33,841.22. We were able to confirm all of this work. I have copies of the invoices and copies of the clear checks prove that he actually paid it. It's not just a fabricated invoice. So these are legit invoices. He did keep his end of the bargain, which was he hauled the equipment from his site to Gwen Auction for us. So he upheld that commitment. And then the generator, he actually signed over a donation to us. He didn't want it. He gave it to us. So I think we had our subcommittee look at it. We had Thomas Cox go out and evaluate it. He says that it's really not worth fixing. Maybe we should just scrap it. And so I think we're going to try to either leave it there or try to sell it to be sold off-site. And it's not really feasible to tear it down and haul it to Gwen Auctions to be sold. So we're going to try to just do it in-house to be moved to save some money. So we don't know how much we got from all of that equipment yet from Gwen Auctions. They only have like one auction a quarter. So I would imagine we just start in the last quarter of 2024, they'll have an auction. So by the end of the year, we'll know how much money we received off the sale of this. So I just thought it's time for us to, this is the final chapter, I think, to sever ties with Tommy Seafood. This is his invoice. There were 50 totes. We discussed at length on what value we should use since he either lost the totes or he kept them. I think when we did our on-site inspection, there was maybe 10, I think 11 there. So we're just saying, you know what, we bought 50 quotes back in 2018. And I believe the cost of those quotes back in 2018 were $21,100 is what we paid for them, brand new. He asked that we paid $422 a piece for them. Shallon's recommendation was he thought they were worth now $150 to $200. He requested that we only deduct that much from the total. Ultimately, it's up to you guys. When I asked the subcommittee what they wanted to do, most of y'all responded option 1 or option 2. So I'm going to go through the options with y'all. Option 1 was deduct the full replacement value from the totes, which was $21,100. But Mr. Mark and Johnny responded that it was also okay to only deduct what the replacement value would be. I did try to do some research, and that's what the third page is. And right now it says $655 is about what it would cost. I just don't know, being it was 2018 and with inflation, I don't know if you guys think that it's fair to charge more for the totes, being that we're not going to use them. I don't really know what you guys want to do. I'm just asking for some direction. But
Those totes went to Gwen Brothers also for auction?
no, they're still on site.
He's
The
got
ones
them
that-
on his side.
He's got, some are lost. His explanation was that something that it's typical of that type of industry to swap totes in and out. So like the ones that we actually bought, they might be at a different facility because he dropped something off and took theirs back with us. So our original 50 totes cannot be accounted for. And so I think that he said that he had about 10 that he could give us. We could request him to go buy new ones and give them to us. Again, I don't really know what you guys want to do. Whatever you decide today, we still have to run it by legal, make sure he thinks that we're within the law, because right now technically it is a debt that's owed to Tommy's Seafood, but he's willing to compromise.
So,
What did our subcommittee think?
I figure replacement for the simple fact, I don't know how they drew the contract up, but you have a guy that come in here to run a business, and he literally, from my understanding, he wasn't getting charged anything except paying for utilities maybe. And then he turned around and left with all the equipment that I firmly believed as soon as the storm passed, he should have come back. And I just think he used these totes, and some of the other equipment don't look like it's been used, but I mean, I don't see where us as the police jury ever got into letting somebody come in here and conduct business. Like, say we're not charging them rent, but he's not gonna keep the equipment up that he's using to make money and produce him a profit. I don't understand.
Yeah, so I guess what we're deciding today is how much do you want
I'm for
to
option
get
five.
credit for totes?
Here, Katie,
Sir,
I like option 5.
which is?
He go on about his business and we go on about ours, now that we have the other equipment they can win auction.
That's,
Tom, you wanna say anything?
What's your option?
Come on, Thomas.
What's your legal opinion?
Unfortunately, Mr. Tom, I guess you'll be involved either way.
I don't,
He's gonna learn it.
so approach this from a practical, cause I don't know the details of his operations and what he's, all I know is he's got $33,000 worth of invoices for repairs to our equipment, our building, whatever it may be. But yet he got 40 of our totes, and it's a value of whatever, if you offset the 20, I mean, you're talking about, I don't see us getting sued over $10,000 or 30,000, but that's the practical side. Maybe he goes and finds the lawyer to sue us for $30,000. So then what's fair? I don't know. That's an eye of the beholder. I always say it's like beauty, but at the end of the day, y'all know probably more about this than I do, and wherever you land, I'll support you.
When did we get these invoices? I'm seeing 2020 and 21. Is this when we contacted them and was like, hey, where's our stuff, or?
the invoices we did get after the hurricane, he's been asking since the hurricane to be reimbursed for the work that was done out there to reopen.
That was for the repair.
For the repairs to the building. Only then, and that a lot of those conversations were between him and the port at the time, which would have been Claire. Like, Miss Kim wasn't even an employee. Claire Marceau was the port director. There was a lot of going on between him and Claire and the board at that time. They all were aware that the equipment was evacuated. He has since returned all of the equipment. The only thing we didn't get back were the totes.
So we had a gentleman that we was in business with, apparently, and we're 4 years behind on paying a man for a receipt. I don't,
Because of all the stipulations and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we wanted the
I
equipment
can
back.
see, you know, we're not paying you till we got the equipment back. If it was to that nature, I'm like, okay, but if it was,
What I recall is we were waiting.
yes.
Now, what about the port? I mean, were we, was the police jury involved in operations? Or did they own all this stuff, or was the port involved in all
The
this?
police jury is the one that got the grant, okay, so everything that's out there was ours, the port was running it for us.
Okay, so the port has no heart.
Well, I got a question.
Not anymore.
If he was repairing a building that didn't belong to him, which is odd, that's very odd in the first place. Second thing, would there be insurance on that building? If it was, who got the money for the insurance?
We got the insurance money.
Okay, how much money did we get for the insurance money?
She said 127.
We got about that.
He did the bare minimum to be able to reopen after the hurricane. He was still operating until April of this year. He was still operating out of that building. So he did the bare minimum to be able to reopen. And that's what the invoices are. And you can tell it's the bare minimum just to get power back. And
My recommendation, given all the hurt, is he claims 33,000 and change. He got some number of our totes that aren't returned, and he's willing to grant as a credit for the, whatever the value of the used totes would be, which y'all have. So 33,000 less 40 used totes and paying the difference. Be done with it.
right.
Because we verified that he did, in fact, because that was, I think, one of the things the court was having trouble with, is getting verification that he actually incurred the expense, paid the expense. So that's been verified. He spent 33,000 to get going, which was why it probably was taking 4 years, because he just.
This is all local contractors?
And
yes.
then he says
Calcasieu,
he'll agree to a
electric-
credit for the totes, whatever that value is, not the cost of new ones, whatever
Right.
used totes would be worth. And
He
What
wanted
was-
credit for, it would have been $7,500. If you do it at $200 for
Did-
50.
Since the storm, do we know if any of the port or us contacted them to bring this equipment back until we initiated that kind of?
I think there were phone calls, but until we actually sat, the Newport director, Kim and I, and Randy and Clayton sat down with them, and we did just a handshake agreement type, verbal agreement, like, look, we're not paying you till you bring our stuff back. He said, well, I'll bring your stuff back if you're gonna agree to pay me. It was kind of one of those things, so we went over there, Clayton and Wendy went over there, verified that it was all there, scheduled it, and he actually did bring it back, so he's held up his end of the bargain, and so it's really on us.
Was any of the equipment used off-site?
His equipment, no.
Any of
Besides the totes, we can't account for the totes, but all of that equipment was still on the trailer or in a Connex box just being stored. He didn't have any use for it because, according to him, it's not anything he could use anyways because he doesn't run his business like that.
Most of that equipment, though, that's 4 years it sat outside in the weather, that it'd probably be worth a lot more today. I don't know the backstory, but this is only my opinion. If somebody had a bunch of equipment that they wasn't bringing back for whatever reason, to me, we just call it even, but it sounds like there was wrongdoing on both sides, so I guess that's one of them things you just do a wash.
How much do we have? But it is.
How much, how much we got left on
They
the-
left the equipment.
After
probably
interest,
wouldn't be
65,
there anyway.
Yeah.
2,000.
They would have worked.
I'm with Tom, I say that we do less than the,
What if we just split it, Mr. Tom?
so it's about 25 grand, give or take, is what he, with.
You wanting 33?
33.
Less the 75 for the totes gets you this 26.
We just split it in
And you have
half.
insurance money to pay for it. And
I just,
$25,000, there it is.
I honestly think you ought to do less the total amount for the totes, brand new, because he probably made the money off the totes already.
He took 50,
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
were-
how many he got, he needs to pay 50.
Right.
Then
Yep.
he got good in hand, I don't think.
If a seafood house comes and picks up a tote, they give you a tote in return.
That's what he's,
Usually how it works.
Right.
So if these totes were being used in and out, traded, swapped, whatever, we'd still have 50 totes. We don't have 50 totes.
So what would 50 totes brand new cost?
well, the
$33,841.
$655 was what I kind of found on Google.
This is how you gotta look at it. Miss Katie said this building, we're gonna have to pay to tear it down if it don't go good. Say if tomorrow a company comes in here and says, I wanna do business, we ain't got the totes or none of that no more, so we had it just because he used it and didn't produce it. I don't think that's being good stewards and just saying, hey, you know what, don't worry about it. I think it should be, I'd say half of a replacement cost is my thing.
Okay, so the numbers on half of replacement cost, because I did run that scenario, half of $655 would be $16,375.
I had that bill.
Split that bill, that's what I say.
Go for it, yeah. That's reasonable, that's all reasonable.
So you want to give them half of replacement cost.
Maybe all, I mean, what he said.
The totes we have ice.
Yeah, if not, we got a good lawyer.
We could be using the totes today if we had, we got ice.
Right. So I just need a motion, like that way it's an official vote. Is it,
Y'all want a second? Mr. Singh? You be okay with that half?
So now what do we,
I mean,
what do we decide?
I know we got,
Half the cost of the totes?
No, half of the bill would be 33,000.
Okay.
Yeah, but half the totes would be
it's
about
basically
16,000.
pretty close.
You good with, you want the whole thing, Sam, or?
whole,
Is this a majority vote? Or it has
Sam,
to
we
be
going
on-
with you. You make a motion, we second it. Right.
yeah.
What you wanna do, Sam?
I want to leave it up to the president of the subcommittee.
That would be Johnny, Mark, or Sonny.
I know my opinion, I would like to get it to where it's basically a wash, and we don't pay him nothing, he don't pay us nothing. But thinking outside the box, trying to work with it, cause I really wouldn't like the port board or our staff or us to put ourselves back in a predicament to where, say for this instant, right now.
Now, we in pink today, remember this.
I hear you, but my thing is, that's why I'm always about accountability and having the documentation. Today, we're probably gonna give a man a better deal than if everybody would have done their part and done it like we should have did it. We wouldn't be able to have doubt up here and be like, well, we kinda didn't do exactly what we should have did. So, that's what bothers me. Other than that, I would have to say, like, I'm like Mr. Sam, I'm gonna hold his feet to the fire, no well, but unfortunately, I think we got cracks on our end.
Make a motion,
It's my opinion.
$15,000.
That's your credit, making a motion to,
We'll write him a check for $15,000.
okay,
It's about half.
so pay
That's coming out of 20.
Got a motion by Mr. Michael to pay him, pay
$15,000
$15,000
to Tommy Seafood.
Tommy Seafood.
As a motion by one, is there a second?
How much is the total?
Total's $33,841.22.
What's half of that?
16.5.
To the T, 16.5 or some change?
This is coming out of the insurance money?
Yeah.
Sam, I see you're not happy. What?
No, I don't.
Let's have a little more discussion.
Yeah, let's have a little.
All right.
Well, we don't have a second, so I guess the motion's
Fail.
Motion down.
dies.
Okay.
So somebody else give me a motion.
All you gotta do is say,
Stop, Sam, what we got?
What you wanna do, Sam? The whole thing?
There's missing totes, there's missing equipment.
Look,
The whole thing? I don't know nothing about these totes.
I'm not sure what, I mean, you heard the recommendation from our council. We could probably get away with less.
Sounds like he said we wasn't gonna get sued over
Like we're gonna make Tom work for his raise.
I'll be working for nothing for 24 hours.
I'll make a motion that we don't pay him nothing and we
Don't
call
ever
this
say
a
that
walk.
and you come ask for some
Sam, you
more.
second the motion?
Got a motion by Mr. Martin,
Second.
You want
second
some
by
vote?
Mr. Sam.
For,
Don't
All
pay
in
him
favor?
anything.
for zero.
Tell him he goes his way
Aye.
and we go our way.
Sonny,
So,
roll call.
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah,
Mike? Yay.
Yay.
so much for pink.
Proud of it, John.
All right, majority.
Motion passed. You out, Mr. Tucker.
Okay.
He, Mr.
Mark
Dunn
made the motion,
represented.
Sam seconded.
you already know, but you do know what you, but just.
Now we're gonna have to give Mr. Thomas a raise to do a little extra work.
Sir?
File a suit,
Yeah.
cost $300.
No, yeah, I got something else, I think. Oh.
If we defend it, if he brings a suit, what's the ballpark figure, what does that have?
I would, $2,400. I'm kidding.
Oh, that's a good one.
We might have the first year covered up.
That's a suit that my office would defend you. It doesn't really require any special knowledge or experience outside of what I've done for 30 years, so I would defend you. You pay me.
Well, I understand that.
But so it wouldn't cost you anything more than my salary.
There's court costs, I don't know, he may sue for his lawyers, all.
I don't know that the attorney's fees provided.
It's too late to worry about, you already voted. Moving on.
We've been long.
Moving on, it's already voted.
Mixed bingo balls, we already.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
All right, next.
All right, so Kayla looked it up. In Lowry, they pay a flat fee, so it must not be metered. It's just a flat fee of $18 a month.
Oh, that's cheap. I'm moving to Lowry just for the water.
Okay, so Cameron Fisheries Future Project. We're not gonna call, I guess we'll call it the fishing dock. You know, the subcommittee had met with some of the shrimpers at a few meetings. They got some ideas on what they'd like to see during our public hearings, they call it citizen participation hearings. When you get disaster federal money, you have to have these hearings with your citizens to collect input. And then everything that's suggested during these citizen participation hearings gets put into a CDBG application. The prior jurors were the ones that were in office at the time that had to be submitted. So all of the ideas generated from this citizen participation thing went to CDBG, what they call a pre-application review. Now, a year later, CDBG has looked at it and they are approving some of these projects to go to full application. And so in November, you're going to have our consultants come and give you a list of all of the projects' full application. And at that point, you're going to set a budget for the full application. The reason why we're bringing up just this one particular project right now and not wait until November is because it's not very clearly defined, the project. And so it was a public fishing dock for commercial fishermen. And through some of the meetings, the fishermen, they gave us some ideas, stern up 10 spots, somewhere in the loop. That's the ideal location. We don't have property identified. That's something we still would have to do. We don't even have a budget yet. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, because the Cameron Fisheries is just the gift that keeps on giving, obviously, this would be the same type of project where you're taking CDBG money, just like you did for Cameron Fisheries. You're going to build something, and then you either A, have to run it yourself, or B, lease it out to an operator to run it. And so before we spend time and resources developing this application, get a project, I think we need to ask you as a jury right now, moving forward, do you have any intention of ever allocating your budget to pay for any operation and maintenance at this fishing pier? Which means maybe hiring an employee or sending a current employee over there to pick up trash, to make maintenance repairs to the boat launch or the decking. If there's power, you're going to have to pay for that bill. You're going to have to pay for insurance. You're going to have to pay for all of that, or find someone to come in and do it for you. So we're kind of in the same situation as we are with Cameron Fisheries. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today.
I think most of us, we're already pinching pennies, We've been working very hard trying to find third-party people to kind of fund this and support it, and so to speak, to help the fishermen. But in my opinion, I don't think I could support building another building that the people of Cameron Parish is going to have to subsidize a business. I firmly believe that that's something the police jury should not be in, is subsidizing a commercial business. I do believe in helping and trying to do everything we can, but as far as us having to fund it without a tax base, I don't know. I don't think I can do that. I don't know how y'all feel.
I guess my biggest doubt is we heard, we need ice, we need ice, we need ice, and it's kind of showing that we're not really getting any customers on ice. So, if they don't put a foot forward, I don't think we can put a foot forward. I mean, we're not even paying light bills right now, so that's tough.
How much ice have we sold?
$550 worth.
For 1 month, 2 months?
Yeah, about 1 month.
Maybe 4 weeks.
What was the expenses, just utility and just normal?
Yeah, $1,500.
How much are we paying for the Bobcat? Didn't we rent one?
No, it's ours. I got it from Hackberry.
Oh, okay. I thought we was gonna rent one. Last I heard, it was a friend of mine.
Well,
It'll cost way more money.
Oh, okay.
So I pulled it from Hackberry, and actually they needed this week, so I had to send some Grand Lakes up there. We sheltering them around.
I think,
To be clear, us selling $500 worth of ice, is that just because that's all we can produce, or is that just because nobody's buying it?
Joby's buying 1 tote every Friday, and besides that, I think we sold to one other person one time.
But we
I
have
guess
ice to sell.
How much ice is there?
We got plenty of ice.
Oh, we got plenty of ice. I mean, a tote is 1 scoop from your skid steer. You
So we got a big pile of ice in
You
there?
got ice.
So what was all the guys that was upset and wanted ice and all that?
Yeah.
I mean, are they still shrimping or?
You'll be hearing from
I-
him.
Season's open now.
Hey, live and
I
learn.
know, it's not prime time, but they are still shrimping. I don't think they're doing too good right now. It's kinda like iffy. But, I firmly expected to see a lot more people buying ice.
Eddie, I don't think we can justify it. At
Then-
this point, I mean, I don't feel we can.
So that would just
These
be,
guys may tell me different, but I don't feel we can.
But what's bad is we don't have the property. We have to work out a lease or buy some property, and that would be expensive, so,
right, so I think if you don't want to pursue the project, it would be a motion to withdraw the application.
So,
We still have other projects that we're gonna bring to you in November, but instead of wasting everyone's time defining a project,
Is there any way
we'd
we
never
can
pursue,
put a
we should
pin
just
in that,
withdraw it
let
now.
and let it float around in case, some of these people we talk to decide to come around on this? Or is that like a
You
hearing?
have a timeline, like you will have a deadline. All full applications are gonna have to be submitted.
Yeah.
I think it's within 90 days of your notice
so
that
Mark, you
you,
ain't heard nothing from these guys?
And
Why
Katie,
they're not
the
buying
clock
ice?
is running, so how
Clock's
long-
running now,
I
yes.
mean, I think you told me about it last week or week before.
I know Joby sounds like he's buying it regularly. There was talk on Facebook, we charging too much. It's just during day hours, you know. Unfortunately, like I said,
Pretty sure.
we don't have the funds, it don't have a tax base. And just thinking of, you know, Sam bringing certain things up and going and
Joey put it on Facebook.
not paying nothing for this guy, knowing that we may have to tear this building down. It's costing us money on insurance. Nobody's coming. It's different if somebody was occupying it. We're putting manpower and stuff into it. So every money, like all the money we have right now for the insurance, because I think we was all on the same page. We don't want to use out the general fund. We'll do what we can with the insurance money in hopes to prolong it until somebody comes in. What's our goal if nobody comes in and runs this facility?
run out of money, we shut it down.
Yeah, that's
That was always the, understanding.
Yeah, but
But-
the kicker about this is we might not even have the green light to tear it down.
yeah, that's
well, I mean, you could tear it down. It's gonna cost your own money though, general fund. But
No, but
as
I-
far as selling it for a profit, that's not gonna be allowed.
I thought you said with the grant that we might not be able to tear it down.
No, you just can't get another grant to tear it down. Like you're gonna have to pay for it out of your general fund. But what you can't do because of CDBG and all the federal regulations about program income is if you sell it for like a profit, you have to submit that to the state because you're not supposed to make money or a profit off of federal grant dollars.
So the stuff on the inside, if we sold it,
That was FEMA. That's all FEMA stuff. And we're going to report. So what we're going to do is everything we received, it gets reported to OCD. They're going to look. Obviously, we're going to get less money than what the value is. And so as long as you didn't make a profit, they'll write it off their list. But the moment you show a profit, they want their money for it. And so it's a little bit different rules for fixed assets versus your capital projects. Just your tangible items, you can throw those away if they're obsolete or if they're broken. You just have to notify them that you're doing it. And if you're selling it, you have to notify them.
I take no action on this, right? How long we got to make the decision?
With by November, well, I would think a week or two because the grant consultants, they need answers. I think I sent all of y'all the questions. We're gonna have to identify the property, the cost of the property, what the scope of it is. I mean, once you find the spot, are you going to do 10 slips? Are you going to do 20 slips? What does that look like? They're going to need to know, are you going to have power and water to it or not? If you do have power and water, are you going to charge the person for renting the spot? Because if you charge a person to rent the spot, that money has to go to CDBG.
I think the
Anytime you're generating any type of income has to get reported to CDBG, and they're going to.
Just ran a slip out, we didn't give them no money.
Wasn't purchased with CDBG money. That's different funding source.
Mr. Sonny, I don't think it's
The
feasible.
reason I wanted to ask is that we wanted to hand that to,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hate to do it and just can it,
Well,
without asking.
well, I know, I think we had multiple meetings and was trying that. My thing is simple, you know. A company come and they was like, what you looking for your area, whatever, to get back to the people. I'm like, well, and this is my opinion, said it'd be nice to have a big fishing pier, it'd be nice to have a big building, but from what I see, being a realist, I don't want no more buildings in my area or bigger buildings because we can't afford what we got right now to be comfortable.
Very true.
I mean, that's just as true as it could get from looking at the facts. And I don't think they liked that answer because they wanted to help, but to me, that would just put us more in a burden to have a extra thing to pay for.
Yes.
Just with insurance, you know.
Yeah, 'cause I was pretty disappointed with I figured that ice we weren't even gonna be able to keep up.
Yep.
And it's just,
The way they act, we wasn't.
well, yeah, I mean, you thought there was gonna be there the next.
And if it was that case, I think we could probably break even, you know what I'm saying? I think we really could break even if it was,
If it was used
if that would be the case, but,
So I'm guessing we don't want no projects that's gonna cost us.
yeah.
Sir,
I don't know where we're gonna get.
we,
I don't think we need no more projects that's gonna cost us money.
and that's okay, you just need to withdraw the project. That's
Good
what
with
the
that.
motion would be.
We got bigger fish to fry. We
Need a motion.
Gotta find some money to fish.
Motion to withdraw.
Motion to withdraw.
I mean, my thought on this is I'd love to see the project like Sonny, I'd love to see it, but I'd like to see somebody else do it.
It's not the right time, maybe in the future.
I second it.
All in favor?
Motion by Mr. Danny, second by Mr. Johnny. All in favor?
Aye.
Good, okay.
Motion carries.
We got a no on this here.
We're getting good at this.
Done, Katie.
All right, I got 5 more things.
Oh my
Good.
God. You gotta roll them all up into one. We need to cover some ground.
Little son.
Oh, I thought you really had something else. Okay, Ms. Caitlin, what else you got? Mary?
Next month, y'all see the new view?
Shane, this thing, this is for the new hire, wanting a new hire in Hackberry, is
Yes, sir.
what this was about?
It's $113,000.
Better go back and repaint your tractors.
With the benefits and salary.
Better get you some green paint and repaint them tractors.
Hey, y'all don't have to give nothing, it don't matter to me.
So all
I'm
the
just
things are in
asked.
the budget next month.
I think
It's
what
okay to
if
ask.
Mr. Johnny a new tractor and call it good.
Mr. Johnny got the best, hey, Mark, Mr. Johnny got the best tractor around. He ain't got no def on his.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Mr.
No
Shane,
problem.
so Johnson Buyer doesn't have a slope mower at all?
They got one, but it's broke down, it cost a fortune to fix it.
I need to do
What
it.
about, Hackberry?
Sir?
What about Hackberry?
Yeah, they got one, but they need another one.
We can do a trade of more machine for a slow mower.
You got one? Johnson Buyer needs one?
We do a trade of a slow mower for a machine.
We don't have no money.
Look for that jar,
You don't even know what we got. She ain't even said nothing. Yeah.
right?
What about it?
He said we ain't got no money. I said we ain't even heard from the treasurer yet, and he said we ain't got no money.
Well, already the general fund only got what, $4 million?
And we're already gonna give Shane about $2 million.
Take that, Grayling.
So, we gotta cut it somewhere. Hopefully next month he has an estimate of what the bridge is gonna cost in Grand Tenere.
I don't foresee that being too cheap.
And
Well, it
then
looks like it's-
he's already negative in the whole 500,000, and then you're looking at another 500,000 with the equipment allowance.
I mean, we can always split hairs, $806,000 supplemental community center. We can take that $2 million back and spread that to the parish.
Oh,
Say y'all about helping the parish. We might
hear
get
that, huh?
back.
Y'all hear that?
What's that?
What you pointing to ear at? I'm talking to you. I ain't talking to them.
Ain't y'all gonna have that tax on the, vote this time? The maintenance tax, it gonna be on the vote?
November?
It's in March.
Or is it March?
when March comes, they voted down, what's the plans on that? We gonna fix some roads or what?
What?
The plans on that $2.5 million or whatever.
Money ain't going nowhere.
If they vote the tax down, it's just gonna stay there?
Makes Kayla think she got money.
The what, is that?
If they vote the tax down for Grand Lake Road.
Stipulation, they have to pass the tax
Yeah,
to get the
goes back to the general fund unless y'all make a different motion, because that was the motion.
So if they vote the tax down, it automatically goes in there, or we gotta put it in there? Cause I know I was.
No, I just know the motion made was they didn't get the money until the tax passed.
Because I know, I was talking with a gentleman and he was saying that pretty much every year y'all was gonna allocate $1 million up to $4 million was the game plan.
I don't know where we gonna get it?
No, that was a talk, y'all never made the motion, but
Y'all
the
talking.
very first motion made, that's what it was.
I ain't gonna say too much, but he was a compadre.
Wait a minute, we